Welcome you all. In this session, we will discuss life processes. Now, the first point, movement of various types can be taken as an indication of life. Next point, maintenance of life needs processes like nutrition, respiration, transport of materials within the body, and excretion of waste products. Next point, autotrophic nutrition involves the intake of simple inorganic materials from the environment and using an external energy source like the sun to synthesize complex high energy organic मटेरियल. सो फोटोसिंथेसिस प्रकाश संश्लेषण क्रिया होती है जिसमें ग्रीन प्लांट्स जो होते हैं अपना भोजन बनाते हैं. हेटेरोट्रॉफिक न्यूट्रिशन involves the intake of a complex material prepared by other organisms. In human beings, the food eaten is broken down by various steps along the alimentary canal, and the digested food is absorbed in the small intestine to be sent to all cells in the body. During the process of respiration, organic compounds such as glucose are broken down to provide energy in the form of ATP. ATP is used to provide energy for other reactions in the cell. Respiration may be aerobic or anaerobic. Aerobic respiration makes more energy available to the organism. In human beings, the transport of materials such as oxygen, carbon dioxide, CO2, food, and excretory products is a function of the circulatory system. The circulatory system consists of the heart. Circulatory system consists of the heart, blood, and blood vessels. In highly differentiated plants, the transport of water, minerals, food, and other materials is a function of the vascular tissue, which consists of xylem and phloem. In human beings, excretory products in the form of soluble nitrogen compounds are removed by the nephrons in the kidneys. Plants use a variety of techniques to get rid of waste material. For example, waste material may be stored in the cell vacuoles or as gum and resin, removed in the falling leaves, or excreted into the surrounding soil. Now, come to nutrition. When we walk or ride a bicycle, we are using up energy. Everywhere, energy is consumed. In all activities, walking, eating, everywhere we need energy. So when we walk or ride bicycle, we are using or consuming energy. Even when we are not doing any apparent activity, energy is required to maintain a state of order in our body. We also need materials from outside in order to grow, develop, synthesize protein and other substances needed in the body. This source of energy and materials is the food we eat. How do living things get their food? The general requirement for energy and materials is common in all organisms, but it is fulfilled in different ways. Some organisms use simple food material obtained from inorganic sources in the form of carbon dioxide and water. These organisms, the autotrophs, include green plants and some bacteria. Other organisms utilize complex substances. These complex substances have to be broken down into simpler ones before they can be used for the upkeep and growth of the body. To achieve this, organisms use biocatalysts called enzymes. Biocatalysts are called enzymes. Thus, the heterotrophs survive depends directly or indirectly on autotrophs. Heterotrophic organisms include animals and fungi. Autotrophic nutrition. Carbon and energy requirements of the autotrophic organism are fulfilled by photosynthesis. Prakash translation. It is the process by which autotrophs take in substances from the outside and convert them into stored forms of energy. This material is taken into the form of carbon dioxide, CO2, and water, H2O, which is converted into carbohydrates in the presence of sunlight and chlorophyll. Carbohydrates are utilized for providing energy to the plant. This way, what we need, प्रकाश संश्लेषण के लिए हमें क्या क्या चाहिए? We need carbon dioxide. This is from the environment, water from the root, from the soil, and then you need the sunlight, and then chlorophyll, green pigment. Now come the carbohydrates which are not used immediately are stored in the form of starch, which serves as the internal energy reserve to be used as and when needed by the plant. A somewhat similar situation is seen in us, where some of the energy derived from the food we eat is stored in our body in the form of glycogen, in the form of glycogen. Now see the process of photosynthesis. This is photosynthesis. Photosynthesis, Prakash translation. This is the carbon dioxide, water, in presence of chlorophyll and sunlight, green pigment जो हरी पत्तियाँ होती हैं, और sunlight. ये वाटर क्या है? पृथ्वी से, पौधे के जल के द्वारा, और कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड एटमॉस्फेयर से. You get the glucose, then 6O2, and then water. This is the process of photosynthesis. Let us now see what actually happens during the process of photosynthesis. Now come to the events occur during this process. The first event is absorption of light energy by chlorophyll. Second, conversion of light energy to a chemical energy, and splitting of water molecules into hydrogen and oxygen. Third step, reduction of carbon dioxide to carbohydrates. These steps did not take place one after the other immediately. For example, desert plants, मरुस्थल में जो प्लांट्स होते हैं, For instance, desert plants take up carbon dioxide at night. Remember, वहाँ पे कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड रात में लेते हैं, जबकि यहाँ के जो पौधे होते हैं कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड एटमॉस्फेयर से दिन में लेते हैं. So for instance, desert plants take up carbon dioxide at night and prepare an intermediate which is acted upon by the energy absorbed by the chlorophyll during the day. Now let us see how each of the components of the above reaction are necessary for short photosynthesis. You just see, if you see, then you will observe a cross section of a leaf under the microscope. That the see there, यहाँ देख सकते हैं आप, क्लोरोप्लास्ट, एयर स्पेसेस, गार्ड शेल, क्रॉस सेक्शन ऑफ ए लीफ है ये, आप देख लें. फोलेम, जाइलम, वैस्कुलर बंडल, मिडरिब, लैमिना और लीफ ब्लेड. When you can see, have a glance to this picture. Now you can see this one also, variegated leaf before and after starch test. Here is another photo, you can see it. देख लें आप, गार्ड सेल, स्टोमेटल पोर, क्लोरोप्लास्ट. Now, since large amounts of water can also be lost during this stomata, the plant closes these pores when it does not need carbon dioxide for photosynthesis. The opening and closing of the pore is a function of the guard cells. The guard cells swell when water passes into them, causing stomatal pore to open. Similarly, the pore closes if the guard cells sink. Just the demonstration. You don't need it. Just you can summarize the things. Autotrophs meet their energy requirements, but they also need other raw materials for building their body. Water used in photosynthesis is taken up from the soil by the roots in the terrestrial plants. Other materials like nitrogen, phosphorus, iron, and magnesium are taken up from the soil. Nitrogen is an essential element used in the synthesis of proteins. Remember, काफ़ी महत्वपूर्ण फैक्ट्स है. जस्ट टू रिपीट, नाइट्रोजन इज एन एसेंशियल एलिमेंट. नाइट्रोजन आवश्यक तत्व है किसके लिए? फॉर द सिंथेसिस ऑफ प्रोटीन एंड अदर कंपाउंड्स. This is taken up in the form of inorganic nitrates or nitrites, or it is taken up as organic compounds which have been prepared by bacteria from atmospheric nitrogen. Let's come to heterotrophic nutrition. Each organism is adapted to its environment. The form of nutrition differs depending on the type and availability of food material, as well as how it is obtained by the organism. For instance, whether the food source is stationary, such as grass, or mobile, such as deer, would allow for differences in how the food is assessed and what is the nutritive apparatus used by a cow and a lion. There is a range of strategies by which the food is taken in and used by the organism. Some organisms break down the food material outside the body and then absorb it. Examples of fungi like bread, molds, yeast, mushrooms. Others take in whole material and break it down inside their bodies. What can be taken in and broken down depends on the body design and functioning. Some other organisms derive nutrition from plants or animals without killing them. This parasitic nutritive strategy is used by a wide variety of organisms like Cascata, amabel, ticks, lice, leeches and tapeworms. How do organisms obtain their nutrition? Since the food and the way it is obtained differ, the digestive system is different in various organisms. In single-celled organisms, the food may be taken in by the entire surface, but as the complexity of the organism increases, the different parts become specialized to perform different functions. For instance, amoeba takes in food using temporary finger-like extensions of the cell surface which fuse over the food particle, forming as food vacuole. Amoeba now here is the photo. Nutrition in amoeba. Sheet, have a glance. Nucleus, food particle, pseudopodia. Sheme, food vacuole, food particles. D. So this goes to this. Again, here you get this is here and this goes to this. Inside the food vacuole, complex substances are broken down into simpler ones, which then diffuse into the cytoplasm. The remaining undigested material is moved to the surface of the cell and thrown out. In paramecium, which is also a remember, paramecium, unicellular organism, the cell has a definite shape and food is taken in at a specific spot. Food is moved to this spot by the movement of cilia which cover the entire surface of the cell. Now come to the nutrition in human beings. The alimentary canal is basically a long tube extending from the mouth to the anus. We can see that the tube has different parts. Various regions are specialized to perform different functions. What happens to the food once it enters our body? We shall discuss this here. So, we will discuss remaining process in our next lecture. Say process for respiration, digestion, circulatory system. Different systems are there. We will take up it in the successive lectures one by one. That's all for the day. Thank you.